So good morning to all those who have joined from India, Philippines, and Kenya, and good evening to the EiB resource persons, the Eduardo and the team, those who are working late in the evening. Please let me know if Dr. Gary joins in between. I'm not able to see on the screen all the participants, but he's traveling right now, actually in between Toronto to Seattle. He's driving, and he is keep informing that if he has reached to the home, he'll join as soon as he reaches there. So let me formally start this this workshop. So the director of the Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi, and my long-time colleague for 35 years and my classmate, Dr. A.K. Singh, the directors of the different ICR institutes, colleagues from the ICR institutes and the state agriculture universities, colleagues from CGIAR Excellence in breeding platform, and the resource persons from the CIMMYT and IRRI, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the CGIAR Excellence in breeding platform, I welcome you all on this opening session of a 3 days virtual workshop on the basics of the genomics. Unfortunately, due to the unprecedented COVID-19 situation globally, we are not able to organize this workshop face-to-face. However, thanks to the technology that we have an opportunity and the tools to connect virtually, and hopefully the technology works well during the workshop, we'll be able to achieve our objectives. The second challenge, which actually the technology even cannot resolve, is that we and our resource persons from the EIB are in 2 different difficult time zones. We are here in India and very fortunate that we have this workshop on all 3 days on a very comfortable time from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. But it has been possible because our resource persons, the Eduardo and the team in Mexico, have kindly agreed to work in rather very inconvenient and odd hours. And that is, I think, is going to be 9:30 p.m. to the past midnight, 12:30 a.m. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Eduardo and the team for this gesture. Now coming to the workshop. The very first question actually comes to everyone's mind is that why do we need to have a workshop on the basics of the genomic selection? There are a couple of reasons why we have chosen to deal with this topic, and we are here today. The basic reason is that when the BPAT assessment of some of the ICR breeding programs was done early last year, one of the recommendations of the BPAT was that the breeding scheme optimization and the genomic selection and its integration into the breeding pipeline in some selected ICR crop breeding programs should be explored. And it is one of the 5 major priorities to address under this project. The second important point why we decided to go for this workshop is that the ICR leadership team, along with the EIB and the BMGF, has decided that the optimization of the breeding pipelines and the genomic selection should be the priority targets for 2021 and the next year. And the third, which is a very genuine reason, is actually the area of genomic selection. We have a lot of confusions, whether it is be it a national at the national program level or be it a international CGIAR or international level. If you talk to 10 different people about what is genomic selection and how, what are the different applications, you'll find the 10 different versions of the genomic selections. And there is a lot of confusion. Some people talk genomic selection equal to the GWAS, GWAS, or QTL profiling or QTL mapping and all such things and other similar technologies. When you go through the literature, most of the publications deals with the complicated prediction models or report the study, which is basically of an academic interest and is not the actual application of the genomic selection in a continuous breeding pipeline. There are very few cases where the genomic selection has been successfully implemented and integrated in the continuous breeding pipeline at the right stage, using the right tools and for the right purpose. And we are bringing these people here in this workshop so that we'll be able to benefit with their experience and the lessons they have learned during the process of implementing GS in their global breeding programs. So we have decided to organize this workshop and our focus will be on So our focus will be on to bring the best community of practices available globally in the area of genomic selection, and would like to clearly define the basics and the prerequisites of the genomic selection. So if someone wants to integrate the genomic selection in the breeding program, you should be aware of that. What are the basic requirements the breeding program should have? And we need to keep in mind that there are some basic requirements for integration of the genomic selection in the breeding programs. For example, the elite by elite mainstream breeding, it should be practiced, or that the genomic selection is recommended when the breeding program is closed rather than open breeding program. Whereas most of the breeding programs in the national programs, in the national systems, are actually the open type. So we need to see that if we are ready to close the program. And once we decide that we are going to close the program, then there are so many different questions comes to our mind with regard to the genetic variability and all such things. And all these things, we need the answers from the experts today. So apart from that, when we talk in the different meetings about the application of the genomic selection in the breeding program, it is always recommended that the genomic selection should be integrated at the stage 1 multi-location testing stage. And when you think in terms of the ICR breeding programs, you need to decide what does it mean for each breeding program, because each breeding the ICR breeding program, in each case, there are different breeding pipelines. So we'll try to find out the answers for all such basic questions and many more from our experts during this workshop. Apart from that, if you see the title of the workshop, it is mentioned that we would like to know that which components of the breeder's equation should be addressed using the genomic prediction technologies. Another important area, which is on the technology side, is that the marker density and the availability of the suitable mid-density platform for genotyping. Is there any cost-effective, sustainable, and user-friendly genotyping technology available? Are we using this right technology platform for the right purpose? We will explore the globally available genotyping options in different crops and which can be leveraged for the ICR crop breeding programs. At the end, the computational aspects of the genomic selection, we should have the BMS-based common platform where the genotypic and the phenotypic data can be submitted and the breeders have access to the calculated genomic estimated breeding value at a quick turnaround time to select the elite clients for recycling. And the most important part on which we actually are going to target on this one is that how to implement the genomic prediction strategies in the breeding program, the actual practice. So how the standard operating procedure, the SOPs would look like. And that is something all ICR breeding teams have to work in parallel during the workshop, keeping your current breeding pipeline handy so that you have a draft SOP for your crop when we end this workshop on the day 3. I hope at the end of the workshop, all of us will have a checklist and the clear understanding about this subject, and it will help them to help everyone to assess that if their own breeding program qualifies for the integration of the genomic selection or not. If yes, then you have a roadmap to go forward in the form of the standard operating procedure. If not, then you all would know that what are the basic prerequisites we need to actually achieve before any breeding program is going to be qualified to integrate the genomic selection in the breeding pipeline. We have tried to bring the world best resource persons who can provide insight in this area. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Eduardo and team, Eng and team, Dr. Abhishek and team, Dr. Joseph Bene from CIMMYT Kenya, and Dr. Pratibhan Prakash from IRRI for accepting our request to be the resource persons. EIB is committed to provide all possible support to all ICR crop breeding teams in this area and the other areas identified under ICR BMGF Indian Genetic Gains Platform Project. Please feel free to contact me anytime if you need any help from us. Once again, I welcome you all and thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay Katiyar, for the welcome remarks. May I now invite the Director of Indian Agriculture Research Institute, New Delhi, and the Project Coordinator of ICAR BMGF IGGP project, Dr. Ashok Kumar Singh, to give his opening remarks. Dr. Singh, please.
Thank you, and thanks Gary and Sanjay and the entire team of EIB, Eduardo in particular, who has been helping us in this whole endeavor and imparted quite a few trainings in past as well. All my colleagues from the ICR BMGF project, Abhishek, it's indeed a matter of great pleasure for us to have this meeting. As Sanjay outlined, I think the purpose of meeting is very clearly defined. I have nothing really to add in what has been said by Sanjay. It's a very well crafted program. Our major concern is that as far as genomic selection is concerned, for enhancing genetic gain, when to use, how to use, where to use, these are the questions which we have been, in fact, debating with a lot of diversity in opinion in terms of protocol to use, SOPs, the type of genotyping, whether mid density, high density, low density, and so on. And all those points have been captured in the initial remarks, and I'm sure that we should be able to find a solution to these questions which have been asked time and again. This, as rightly said, that ICR and the National Agriculture Research System breeding program is very vast program, and there are, if you go crop wise, there are something like 100 to 400 breeders working in each crop in the National Agriculture Research System. So it would be really very difficult to begin with to implement as a rule the program everywhere, but that's where we need to prioritize in order to economize the human resources and also the economic resources for the best utilization. I only wish that we were able to organize this program, much earlier, probably in the first year itself, so that by now we could have been on a specific path. But I must say that it is never late, and we are starting this program, and I'm sure that all my colleagues, they will get the benefit of the training program. I will not take much time. I wish this training program a great success. As you all know that from on 12th and 13th, we are going to have the annual review meeting. And for that meeting, from this training program, I'd like to see that a clear recommendation on genomic selection aspects for enhancing genetic gain is projected, and with a consensus. So that will prioritize our requirement in terms of allocation of resources. Genotyping is a major component. The cost of genotyping system. So all those things we need to discuss. As Sanjay rightly said, that we could look into globally available, genotyping system archives that are available for a specific crop breeding program, and whether we can facilitate to get their support is something very important for program to succeed. So thank you all very much, and wish you all the best for this training program.